Prime Minister, yesterday you described yourself as a bulldozer. You said that you would change if re-elected. Can you provide specific examples of how your leadership style would change?
Well, let me make 2 points. The first one is we've been effectively dealing with a global crisis for the last 2 years. And that was a time for me as Prime Minister and my government to be in the gear of pushing through. And that was necessary to ensure that Australia was able to not just come through this pandemic and make many decisions quickly. And there frankly just hasn't been the time during that period of crisis to undergo the broad-scale consultation and engagement, which is my preference. But in these times, there hasn't been the opportunity for that. I've had to act quickly with Josh Frydenberg. I've had to take decisions, not all of which were popular, and not all of which people would agree with, and not on every occasion were right, because we're dealing with a global pandemic, and we had to move fast, and we had to get things as right as we possibly could. Now, the result of that is where we're at in terms of the strength of our economy and where we go to next. The next stage is very different to where we've been. We're coming out of this pandemic, just like those kids understand. We're coming out of it. And as a government, I'm looking forward to changing the gears of our government to secure those opportunities that are ahead of us. And that means being able to engage more with local communities. We've been locked up in Canberra, just as people were locked up here in Victoria. And that's all changed. And that means my team, and I in particular, can do more of what we've been doing lately over the course of this campaign, and indeed before when we've had the opportunity. I have revelled in the opportunity to be back out there and connecting with Australians, because while there were great fears during the pandemic, and that strength was necessary, where we're going next is a gear change, where we're securing opportunities and we're realising the ambitions and aspirations that Australians have for their future. I said at the last election, how good is Australia? Well, we're about to find out just how much better it's going to be because of the work we've done together, and we move into this optimistic mode where we're able to seize the opportunities ahead of us.
Yeah. Prime Minister, you just said then, and you said this again yesterday, that you haven't always made the right decision. And
Sure.
this goes in with your sort of comments about being a bulldozer in the past. Could you tell Australians what specifically you think were the wrong decisions you made or the incorrect decisions?
Well, the one I've most commonly referenced was at the start of the vaccine program and how that was driven by the Department of Health. Now, in hindsight, bringing in General Frewen was something I would have done earlier, because when I put General Frewen in charge, we fixed the problem and we ended up assuring the highest vaccination rates in the world, and we met our target of ensuring that every single person in Australia who wanted a vaccine could get one, and we originally set that goal in late 2020 as being in by October of 2021. Now, we hit that within a couple of weeks. And that's the thing when you go through a challenging crisis like that. There's no rule book. Australians understand that. Australians understand the pressures that they are under, and I'm sure they're quite conscious of the very, very fluid and very uncertain environment in which governments had to make decisions, not just me, premiers as well. And all of us worked together to try and do the very best we possibly could. And where things didn't go to plan, we quickly went back, we fixed them, we got them right, and we pushed ahead. You know, in times like that, you've got to be strong. You've got to push ahead. But now we're going into this time of opportunity. We've set up those opportunities. We weren't just getting through. We started the Modern Manufacturing Initiative in the middle of the pandemic, started securing Australia's international future by landing the single largest defence agreement to secure Australia's defence and the stability of the Indo-Pacific region, the AUKUS agreement, the strongest agreement and most important agreement since ANZUS 70 years ago. That was done in the middle of the pandemic as we were pushing through those times. That set up an opportunity for now, and I'm excited about that. I'm extremely excited about it.
The first Prime Minister to serve a full term since John Howard.
Correct.
Can I please ask you, do you really believe, or do you really think that Australians believe that you can change?
What you've seen from me, particularly over the last few years, is what Australians have needed. And I think Australians would agree with that.